Have you ever slammed your hand down on your alarm clock just begging for 5 more minutes? Yeah, we've all been there. That jarring, annoying sound is probably the most hated noise in the world. But what if I told you that the very first personal alarm clock wasn't invented by some genius trying to change the world? It was created by one guy, a regular Joe, who just couldn't stop being late for work. He literally invented the thing we all despise because he kept oversleeping. And that, my friends, is the hilariously relatable story of how the alarm clock was born. Before we had these little boxes of terror on our nightstands, how did people even wake up on time? For most of human history, it was pretty simple. You woke up when the sun came up or when the local rooster decided it was time for everyone to be awake. But as societies got more organized, people needed better methods. The ancient Greeks and Chinese developed water clocks, some of which were rigged to make a sound at a certain time. Then you had candle clocks. People would stick a metal pin into a wax candle, and when the wax melted down to that point, the pin would clatter onto a metal plate below. Not exactly a gentle wake-up call, but it worked. And then there were the knocker-uppers. This was a real job, especially during the Industrial Revolution in Britain. You would literally pay someone to walk around in the early morning and tap on your window with a long stick until you woke up. And believe it or not, this profession existed well into the 1920s. Imagine explaining that job to someone today. Now, the idea of a mechanical alarm isn't entirely new. The ancient Greek philosopher Plato supposedly had a complex water clock that would whistle to wake up his students for early morning lectures. Later, medieval monks built huge, intricate clocks in their monasteries with bells that would ring to call them to prayer at specific times. But these weren't personal devices. They were massive, expensive, and belonged to an entire community or institution. You couldn't just pop down to the store and buy one. For centuries, the average person was still relying on roosters and sunshine. The idea of a personal portable alarm clock that you could own? That was still just a dream. It would take a very sleepy man to turn that dream into a reality. And this is where our hero comes in. Meet Levi Hutchins, an American clockmaker from New Hampshire, living back in 1787. Levi had a problem, a big one. He was a notoriously heavy sleeper. No matter what he tried, he struggled to wake up before sunrise. This was a serious issue because his job required him to be up and working at 4 a.m. sharp. He was constantly late, and it was driving him crazy. So being a clockmaker, he decided to solve his own problem. He took a small pine box, a bunch of brass gears from his workshop, and a single bell. He tinkered and toiled until he had created a device that would automatically ring that bell at a specific time. But here's the catch. His invention could only be set for one time, and one time only. 4 a.m. He couldn't change it. He didn't patent it, he didn't try to sell it, and he had no idea he was starting a revolution. All Levi Hutchins wanted was to not get fired for being late. For about 60 years, Levi's invention remained a personal secret. But the world was changing. The Industrial Revolution was in full swing. Factories were popping up everywhere, trains were running on strict schedules, and for the first time in history, huge numbers of people needed to be at a specific place at a specific time. Waking up with the sun was no longer good enough. The world needed to be punctual. In 1847, a French inventor named Antoine Ridier finally patented the first adjustable mechanical alarm clock. And just like that, the floodgates opened. Suddenly, everyone needed an alarm clock. It went from being a quirky, one-of-a-kind gadget to an absolute household essential. Companies in America and Germany started mass-producing them, and they became one of the first must-have items of the modern era. All because society suddenly had a deadline. Of course, once humans get their hands on a new technology, they immediately start making it weird. And the alarm clock is no exception. Throughout history, inventors have come up with some truly bizarre ways to force people out of bed. There was an alarm clock that would start shredding your money if you didn't get up to turn it off. Talk about motivation. Another one, called Clocky, had wheels and would literally drive off your nightstand and hide somewhere in your room, forcing you to get up and hunt it down. Some inventors took a more aggressive approach, creating alarm clocks that would deliver a mild electric shock to wake you up. Yikes. And of course, there were countless novelty designs, from alarms shaped like roosters that crowed, to others that required you to solve a puzzle before they would shut up. It seems the snooze button has always had a powerful enemy, human ingenuity. As we moved into the 20th and 21st centuries, the mechanical clanging bells were slowly replaced by the blinking red digits of the digital clock radio. And then, The smartphone arrived and changed the game completely. Today, billions of us are woken up not by a physical clock but by an app. We can customize the sound, set a dozen different alarms, and have it gently increase in volume. But when you strip it all away, the core principle is exactly the same as it was in 1787. It is a tool designed to solve a fundamental human problem. Waking up is hard. The technology has evolved, but the struggle is timeless. Every single morning, the ghost of Levi Hutchins lives on in the millions of us who grudgingly reach for our phones. So the next time your alarm goes off and you feel that familiar surge of hatred for the noise that just shattered your peaceful dream, take a second. Remember that this entire global phenomenon, this daily ritual for billions, all started with one man. A man who wasn't a visionary genius or a captain of industry. He was just a guy who was really, really bad at waking up on time. His personal struggle became a universal invention, a tool that keeps our modern world running on schedule. So thank you, Levi Hutchins. We might hate what you created, but we definitely need it. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more. See you next time.